Hello everybody and welcome back to another video. Now in today's episode we're going to be taking a look at the Disney Screensaver collection from Berkeley Systems. So this right here is the result of a comment that I made in passing on one of my previous videos where I briefly mentioned that I was thinking about doing a video about screensavers, or I think I came up with the idea in that video because we were taking a look at screensavers or something. And a few of you guys expressed interest in that, but somebody out there decided to email me an eBay listing for this product and said, hey, you might be interested in this, so thank you very much for that suggestion. And I was really interested because I actually did not know this was a thing. So this right here was a result of Berkeley Systems partnering with Disney to create a Disney branded set of screensavers featuring various Disney characters, and it was released in the early 90s. And it was kind of branded as a part of the After Dark family. You see here it says After Dark compatible. After Dark I'm sure needs no introduction because of how popular that it was. But the cool thing about this is you didn't need to have a copy of After Dark to use this. This is a standalone product. And there was also a version for the Mac as well. This is the Windows version, and we're going to be installing it on Windows 3.1 here in a minute. And if I haven't already mentioned it, this thing is sealed. It's never been opened before, so we're going to break the seal right now on video and take a look at what you would have received if you purchased the Disney Collection Screensaver, or I guess I actually just noticed that, it should be the Disney Screensaver Collection, or I guess the Disney Collection. You know what, whatever, we're just going to open it up. Now, this did come on 3.5-inch diskettes. It says so on the bottom of the package there. But apparently there's a coupon inside to request 5.25-inch diskettes if you so required them. I guess we can read the back of it a little bit before we open up the box. So, prevent screen burn-in is your big, huge blurb up here. Of course, that's the whole point of screensavers. And we'll read a little bit of this, I guess. So it says, take an enchanted trip to the magical world of Disney with Mickey, Donald, Goofy, and all your favorite Disney characters in this incredible new collection of screen-saving displays, the latest addition to the award-winning After Dark family. And it says down here that you've got 15 or over 15 colorful animated Disney displays. You've got 10 of them printed here on the box. Classic Disney voices and sounds. Apparently it also runs all After Dark 2.0 displays. That's a really nice feature. Screen locking, password protection, System IQ activity monitor, and 5 complete classic Disney songs. Oh, wow, I didn't even notice that. See, of course, it can't be Disney related without throwing a song in here in some way. You need a 386 or higher with Windows 3.0 or higher, 4 megs of RAM, and a hard drive VGA, and, you know, a sound card for the sounds to work. But yeah, let's go ahead, and enough rambling, just open this thing up and we'll see if everything in here, you know, is still in here, which I wouldn't imagine why it wouldn't be. But yeah, we'll go ahead and take this out here, and I think that's everything. Doesn't appear to be anything else in there, so we'll go ahead and set the box aside. You got this nice like padding in here for it, and it looks like we've got a little user's manual, and there's a pen in here. Holy crap. Oh my gosh, they give you a pen for the registration card. Look at that. That's an After Dark pen with the toasters on it. Oh my gosh, that is like the coolest looking pen I think I've ever seen. The pen itself feels like super cheap. I'm sure they made like a ton of these. That is the first time that I've seen a company include a pen with the registration card, so they were really making sure you had everything you needed to fill this out. I wonder if there's postage included on this, though. So yeah, fill this out for technical support and guaranteed savings on new software. Yeah. And yeah, no postage necessary, so this was free to mail. Of course, the permit is long expired by now. And yeah. Let's go ahead and open this up here. We've got a few things in here. Check this out. We've got, okay, here's the 5.25-inch disc offer. So you have to call them up, actually, okay, or return this completed form, so you could mail into them. And then this right here is, oh, this is probably for this right here, just to put it in the envelope and send it, because that is a postage paid envelope. Yeah. So let's see what else we got. This is the manual, it looks like. 28 pages long, so yeah, definitely a decent amount of info in here. You've got more fun inside from the makers of After Dark. Really loving that artwork there. Let's see what we got. Oh, you got the merchandise. God, I would have loved to have one of these After Dark shirts. That is a really cool looking shirt. So $10.95 for a t-shirt, $16.95 for a sweatshirt. And you've got ties too. I feel like I've seen the ties before, but that would also be a really cool thing to own. The Art of Darkness book, the After Dark modular mouse pad, and yeah, so you could, oh, and you've got the inflatable toaster, like, blow-up thing, which is really neat as well. And right here, we've got the Berkeley Systems software collection, because they did partner with other brands, not just Disney. I think there's actually, you saw the Star Trek thing in here on this shirt. They do have a Star Trek screensaver pack. In fact, there it is right there for Macintosh and Windows. And then you've got just regular After Dark, more After Dark, and they got the DOS version right there. Really, really cool. And here is the main event, the software itself. You've got the license agreement. Important, read carefully. Okay. And there we go. So we've got 3 diskettes in here, and all that's left to do is swap over to our Windows 3.1 system, and we'll install this and take a look at what it has to offer. Alright, so here we are in Windows 3.1. We're going to open up the file manager and just run through the setup process very briefly here. It is very straightforward, as you would imagine. First, it's going to ask you what type of installation. We're going to go with the full install. Actually, we'll select custom so that we can get a list of components here. But you see that the full install will take up 7.3 megs of hard disk space. So we'll click on OK. And here's the components. So you've got 3 selections: the After Dark program itself, the Disney Collection screensaver modules, and the music to go with the screensavers. And then here are the individual screensaver modules. So we're just going to grab all of these. And so it tells you how much space it's going to take up. We'll click yes to confirm. We'll install it to C After Dark. That's fine. And we'll put in our name. And there is a serial number. It is inside of the registration card, luckily printed on the side that you don't have to mail in, although it's actually printed on both of the sides. But we're going to go ahead and put that in, and the company name we'll just do MJD. Alright, so we've got it installed. It's created a new program group for us, and we've got a README file in here as well. Looks like it's dated October 11th, 1993, and we've got some useful info in here, some compatibility issues you may encounter, and yeah, so we'll go ahead and close out of this and run the program itself. Now, if you ever use After Dark, well, this will probably be pretty familiar to you. So this is the control panel. We're just going to pretty much go through the list here, but before we do that, we'll go to the setup program here, or the setup section of the program. This slider up here just allows you to turn off After Dark, so if you don't want it to run, you can just do that. But we'll go to setup, and in here you have your pretty standard After Dark options. You've got a sleep timer up here, which you could modify to your liking. After Dark also had these control corners, which you could move around depending on where you would like them on the screen. And basically how this works is if you move your mouse to the plus corner, it would immediately activate the screensaver as it's just doing right now. Since I've got the 101 Dalmatians selected, it's going through that screensaver. But if we go back in here and move it to the minus corner, this will prevent the screensaver from activating even if the timer runs out. So that's definitely very useful if you're going to like be away from your system and you were going to come back and you didn't want the screensaver to start for whatever reason. You could move your mouse to the minus corner. If you thought you were going to do that like by mistake, you could turn off the control corners just altogether. You can check this option here. You can also turn off the desktop icon, and you've got System IQ and Windows Shutter options down here. System IQ is pretty much going to monitor your system activity in the background and decide whether or not to activate After Dark if you're using a lot of system resources. It could also slow down the screensaver's animations to make it take up less resources if you're using a lot of system resources through other programs, which is very nice as well. So I'm going to definitely leave that enabled. You've got sound options here, which it actually has the wrong output device selected. We're going to select a multimedia Windows sound, and we'll hit OK. You've got your hotkey settings right here, and your password settings if you want to have a password prompt display when you wake your system up from the screensaver. So yeah, we'll go ahead and get out of that, and we'll hit on OK. And let's just run through the list here. So we'll start with 101 Dalmatians, and we'll hit on demo here. And this one does not clear the screen, although there is a clear the screen option here, but it just, you know, it puts a few Dalmatians on the screen. And you can increase that. They also bark. You can change the bark frequency as well. So we'll maybe make the dogs like, let's do lots. And now it actually looks like it's cleared the screen for us. We'll click stop and hit demo again, so it will just do it over the desktop. And we can also increase the bark frequency. Maybe we want to make this really obnoxious and make them bark really often. And we'll just restart that. And we'll just let this run for a little bit. Yeah, that would that would definitely get a little annoying, but the option is there. So next up is Beauty, which we can just demo this here. This actually plays some music. You do have a music slider right here if you want it once, twice, thrice, always, or never. We'll just select always. And you've got a wipe or dissolve transition, essentially, is what this is, because it displays a few different images and it cycles through them with music in the background if you have that turned on. And you can change the delay as well. We can maybe just make that, we'll just keep it at 10 seconds because that's the shortest. And we will we'll just hit demo here. So there's the music playing in the background. And so it'll keep this image up here for 10 seconds, and then it will wipe to the next one, which isn't really a wipe actually, it's more of like a, well, whatever you want to call this. They're calling it a wipe here, but it just kind of, I almost want to say dissolve, but I think the other transition is named dissolve. But yeah, so we'll go ahead and change this to, yeah, it's called dissolve. But if we stop this and restart it, I'll go ahead and move the control panel out of the way so it's not going to like be covering the screensaver. But we'll hit demo. And so there's the dissolve. It kind of slowly comes in, which I actually really like. So we'll let this run for a little bit here. Oh, actually, you know what? It's referring to the transition when the image appears. That's what it's doing, because it's the same dissolve out transition. So, yeah, that makes sense. Because I was saying, that looks exactly the same when it was fading out there. So, yeah. We'll just let this one dissolve out and we'll end it. But you do have a few different images in here that it goes through. So yeah, there you go. And next up is Captain Hook. And this one also has a clear the screen option like 101 Dalmatians. And we've got music, we'll set that to always. If we can actually slide it up here, and we'll hit demo. And so there it is, it just kind of comes in. It is randomized of where it actually starts. And, oh yeah, it goes, that's right, I was like, what's going on there? Because we're kind of demoing this, the control prompt here, this section will always be on the screen. So that's nice, because you can modify these options. And sometimes it will restart if it's an option that you select, like I know on the last one that we take a look at, like the moment that you adjust it, it will restart the screensaver for you, and then, you know, with your new options that you've selected. So yeah, there it is. And so yeah, it just does this across the screen, and yeah, we'll go ahead and stop that. Cheshire Cat is up next. So you've got a shyness slider, stage struck, and retiring is all the way at the top. You've got a haste and an indecision slider as well. So yeah, you definitely want to mess around with these options and kind of get it to your liking, or you could just randomize them. Like, let's maybe do shyness, let's do extroverted, and let's do zoom for the haste. And indecision, let's make that undetermined. And so there is sound. I'm going to actually turn this off so that it'll actually just do it on the desktop. But let's maybe make this all the way over here. Let's do stage struck, and we'll hit demo. So now it's going to be a lot more active. He didn't laugh in that one, apparently. But yeah, a lot of these are pretty slow. Like, I mean, this one here, you just kind of have this one animation going on. So this one wouldn't really be the best to prevent screen burn-in, because the rest of your screen, I mean, especially if you turn off the clear screen first option, because your desktop is still going to be in place, and the screensaver, like, yeah, it'll kind of have some motion going on, but this is probably not going to hit every area of the screen. Like, he's just kind of staying over here right now. And Yeah, so there's obviously going to be some screensavers in this pack that are better than others. My favorite so far, and I've not gone through all of them, but my favorite is the Starry Night one down here, which I don't even know if that's really a Disney particular one. In fact, yeah, it's copyrighted 1990 to 92, and this pack came out in 93. All these are dated 1993. So that's not even like a Disney one as far as I know, but it is my favorite, and it does have a lot of motion going on. So we'll get to that one in a minute here. But next up is Digital Ink, which is actually pretty cool. This one does completely get rid of your desktop, and it kind of gives you a Windows Paint-ish program. It's not exactly Paintbrush, but it certainly looks like it. It says Digital Inkwell, and you've got Mickey Mouse here just kind of going around the screen. He grabs some of the tools here, or well, I guess it's not really Mickey Mouse, but the screensaver will grab some of these tools and kind of draw stuff. And there's Mickey Mouse again. And he's, oh, you got like some animator versus animation stuff going on there. Yeah. So, and now Mickey has the drawing, the pen, the pencil. And he's drawing some stuff. A skateboard there. And that sound effect is looped, definitely. You can also change the volume here. We can turn that down if you want it to be really quiet. Or just muted. You can turn it up. But yeah, so that one's pretty cool. Oh, and he talks too. Look at that. So yeah, Digital Inkwell, which really gives me animator versus animation vibes. Disney clock. So this one is, you know, well, going to be a clock. You've got a few options here. We'll just leave it on random for now. Sounds, we'll do both. This slider here controls the drift interval. We'll set that to always, and we'll hit demo. And so it moves the clock around the screen for you. That's not me doing anything. And I assume that's the drift interval. If we change that to, like, rarely, it's probably not going to do that as often as it did. Yeah, that's exactly what that is. And it did the exact same clock, too, the second time. So here's a different one. Unfortunately, we can't move the After Dark box around while the screensaver is running, so you kind of got to hope that the screensaver doesn't just get behind it when you're demoing it here. So there's the Mickey one, which is, I think, the most basic out of them all. But let's go to, like, Owl here. We'll just run through all of these. So there's Owl. Go to Ducks, we already saw. Go to this one here. Oh, we also saw that one. At least very briefly. I'll let it play for a little bit here. I think that's enough. You get the idea. Tron, which is probably naturally my favorite one out of this pack here. So you got a digital clock with some animation going on. No sounds, though. Although I wonder if there's a chime, you know, when it reaches, like, say, 10 o'clock, like on the hour. Let's go to Mickey, we already saw. We've got Goofy, which I think is similar to the Mickey one. Yeah, it's just the same clock with a different color palette. Next up is Donald Paints. So you've got a neatness slider for artist is at the top, at the far right side, and then the far left is splash. So let's set this to artist here. Color, we can definitely randomize that. You can randomize the style as well. You've got solid, squares, diamonds, circles, and Mickey with an exclamation point. We'll just do random, and we'll let the computer pick it for us, and we'll hit demo. And so I think it's just Donald Duck comes on the screen and just paints stuff. Oh, yeah, I've seen this one before. I've actually seen this one. Huh, that's interesting. I kind of want to leave this running to see what he actually paints, but at the same time, like, that's going to take a while. And there's not really a speed slider. Like, we can't really speed this up. But yeah, I've seen that one before. That's really interesting. Falling Flower. So you've got a flower slider from 1 to 3. We'll put that on 3. And music, we'll set that to always. And yeah, there you go. We'll maybe set it to 1 slider to kind of see how that one looks. But the color of the flowers or anything, that does not change. So that's the same. Which is fine. I mean, I think it would have been nice if they had different flowers. Maybe they do if you let the screensaver run for a while. There'll be different flowers that come on. But either way, it's a flower screensaver, for sure. With looping music in the background that would probably get old after a while. That's why it's nice you've got this music slider here. If you don't want it to play always, you can set it to once, twice, or thrice. We've got the Goofy screensaver, which has no options at all, so let's just hit demo and see what this is about. These program groups are the actual program groups in Program Manager, because I've got SimCity installed, I've got WordPerfect 6.1, which there it is. You can see it a lot better now. Oh, look, he's coming out of the applications program group. That's pretty cool. I really like the ones like this and that painters one that kind of give you kind of a fake Windows desktop here with, like, you know, a program manager window open up that the character interacts with. I think that's really nicely done. So Goofy's just going to walk across the screen here, and he's going to close out of that. Doesn't appear to be any sound, though. We do have a sound slider here, just like on the painters one, but I haven't heard any noise yet. Oh, speaking of, there you go. So there is sound. So he just ran into the window there. So Haunted has the Screamishness slider. So you've got E to E. Like, let's go ahead and hit start here and just see what... Oh, it just changed to capital letters, too. Look at that. But that's the only slider you have. So let's just let this one play for a little bit and see what it's all about. Oh, he got spooked. Oh, man. So, yeah, that's Haunted. And Jungle Book. Okay, so we've got Thunder. You've got a Thunder slider. Calm to Booming. Let's set it on Thunderous, because that sounds nice. So yeah, there you go. I'm not really going to let the screensavers play out like for a super long amount of time because, I mean, I obviously want to get to all of them in this video. But, you know, the good news is this has already been archived. So, you know, you could go and I'll have the link down below if you guys want to check this out and explore it for yourself. But yeah, it's already been archived. I was going to archive this copy and then I looked on the Internet Archive and I'm like, oh, somebody already did that for us. So yeah, so you can just download it, check it out, and, you know, see these screensavers in more detail if you would like to. But yeah, Little Mermaid is up next. So you've got a creature slider, a visitor slider, and a music slider. So we'll change creatures to shoals, which is the highest option here. Visitors, let's say very often. Music, let's say always. And you've got black, plain, or waves for the sea. So let's just go through those three options here. So we'll start with black. So you've got a rendition of Under the Sea. And I assume the sea is going to change the background. So like if I change this to plain, yeah, so there you go. Now you've got like a blue gradient going on here. So now they are actually under the sea instead of just on a black background. And waves, which, oh yeah, definitely my favorite one because you got a nice animation there too. Yeah, a lot of these too, you just kind of get the gist of them after a while. Like it's going to be creatures going across the screen, you know, with some music playing in the background. But yeah, Magic Kingdom. Okay, so you've got a castle, drop down, none, dim, or floodlit. Number of fireworks, let's jump that up to 6. Delay, let's do a short fuse, and we'll hit demo. So there's the castle, and there's the fireworks. And the castle kind of changes color there as the fireworks go off. That's a nice touch. So let's maybe change this to let's do dim for the castle. Oh, look at that. So now the light is pretty much exclusively coming from the fireworks when they go off. And then you've got none, which is where you don't even see the castle at all. So it's just like a fireworks screensaver at that point. And you can, of course, turn off the sound, too. Because this would be a pretty nice screensaver. You know, especially if you like, I mean, if you didn't want the sound, which it would probably get old after a while for me, so I would probably turn off the sound. And you can also change the delay, which I would probably keep it on short fuse to keep a lot of fireworks coming up on the screen. So next up, you've got Pinocchio, which you've got a single slider right here. You've got rare to lots. Let's go ahead and hit demo. I wish I were a real boy. Oh! Add. An error has occurred in your application. If this was a sponsored video, that would be a great segue into a sponsored segment. If you choose ignore, you should save your work into a new file. If you choose close, your application will terminate. So this was crashed, which is interesting. Apparently, Windows does not like that. Can we hit ignore? No, we can't. It's just going to keep coming up with the same message box, so we got to hit close. I wonder if that's because of the slider. Like maybe if we lower the option there, like let's maybe change this to rare. And hit demo. No! Oh no, that sucks. I might try to find footage of this or something. So we'll have to move on to Scrooge here. So you've got a money slider, which at the very bottom, or there I am saying bottom again, at the very left is pocket change, at the very right is Fort McKnox. You've got a currency type here, so you've got US dollar, the pound, and the German Deutschmark, which that goes to show you how old this is because it predates the euro. So we have it set to Fort McKnox, so there's going to be a lot of money on the screen, which you can see there clearly is. But let's see if, so if I change this to UK pound, this should, yeah, so you see how it just restarts the screensaver for us? So there doesn't appear to be any sound, at least I'm going to let it run for a bit to see if there are any sound effects, but there's no music in the background. Oh, yes, there are sound effects. There you go. Oh, and you've got the flying toaster, too. Look at that. That's a nice little Easter egg. There you go. And the last Disney one is the Sorcerer. So you've got brooms. You can set that to maybe a lot. And music, we'll just set that to always and hit demo. Ooh, very spooky. So yeah, they just walk around the screen. Although, where's Mickey? There he is. So yeah, you'd have to decide if you want that music. And oh no, I can't. Gosh dang it, the title. Oh, there we go. Okay, lovely. Starry Night. So this is the one that I don't really think is a Disney screensaver at all. They just threw it in here. And yeah, so you've got a randomizer as well, which just picks a random screensaver. You can also go in order as well, which is nice. And you got duration. So, you know, you can modify that however you want. New, so you can actually select the individual modules you want to choose from instead of just going through all of them. And yeah, so Starry Night. This, we'll just start it here, and I'll change like the building slider. We can move this way up to 100. And you see the buildings kind of change there as well. Maybe I want to set it to like, oh, 98. Yeah, definitely. Let's move it way down to, if I can actually grab the slider here, to 0. Now we got no buildings. And you've got a lightning slider as well. You can see that's what's going on. See and hear it, or hear the thunder rather. But we can turn that off if you want to just disable that. And yeah, with the buildings off, the building height doesn't matter, so you can change this to whatever you want. It won't do anything unless you enable the building. So let's maybe re-enable that. We'll put it to 100. We'll make the height maybe like, let's go down maybe to like 70-ish. Let's go 70%, and we'll just let this run for a little bit. So there you have it, guys. That is the After Dark Disney Screensaver Collection from Berkeley Systems. Here's the help documentation if you want to read through this, but you know, it's pretty self-explanatory. You know, I thought this was really neat. Like I said, I did not know about this, but it's funny because I'm pretty sure that I've seen that Donald painting screensaver, that Donald Duck, yeah, this one here. I'm pretty sure I've seen this one before. I forget where, maybe it was in like a YouTube video from years ago or something, but I feel like I've seen this before. Maybe I'm just making that up, but either way, it's a pretty nice pack, and you know, maybe it would have been worth it to you back in 1993 to pick this up, and you know, especially if you were a Disney fan. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, be sure to give it a thumbs up, get subscribed, all that good stuff. And as always, I want to thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.